I'm here with Turkish. We've just witnessed Brighton 1, Arsenal 1, a draw, but it very much feels like a loss. Turkish, your initial thoughts on the game?
That is a loss. No, that is a loss. 1 point on the board is not enough for the gap we've helped create by being so inconsistent in the first half of the season. 1 point was not enough today, especially having taken the lead as well. And pretty comfortable in the first half overall. I think couldn't pick much between the teams, and we had the lead. But
I've got to ask you, what do you make of the substitution at half-time? Ethan Nwaneri, who'd probably been our best player in the first half, scored a really good goal, looked bright, looked direct, looked aggressive. And then for him to be taken off at half-time, raised a lot of eyebrows in the studio. What was your thoughts on that decision?
It's not the first time this season Arteta's shown, I don't know, a bit of, I'm going to call it a weakness. You know, we go down to 10 men against, who was it? Brighton? Was it Brighton? Or was it Bournemouth?
It was we got Declan Rice sent off against.
Yeah, but with Bournemouth when Sterling got taken off straight after, right?
No, yeah, Bournemouth. Saliba got sent off, didn't he?
Yeah, that to me was like, why? You know, we're 4 minutes away from half time, and instead of just settling the ship a bit, waiting to see half time and you know see what the 15-20 minute team talk brings out, he made a quick fire decision that really kind of shows what he's been about all season, which has been more handbrake on, more safety first. And I'm sorry, it hasn't boded well.
So what do you think the rationale was in taking Nwaneri off? Because it was half-time, so it's not like he was tired. I don't think he was injured. So what do you think the rationale for that decision was?
People are going to say the yellow card. He'll probably say the yellow card. That's not a good enough reason for me. Yes, there's a risk there, but do you know how many players go into the second half with yellow cards? I mean, yes, we've been caught out, unfortunate at times this season with red cards and referee decisions. But again, you don't make such a quick fire decision like that ultimately kills off any threat we have in attack. Because Nwaneri, you could see he was doubled up on. A 17-year-old starter, he's doubled up on. Why? Because teams know, aside from Saka and now Nwaneri, we're pretty easy to defend against with Jesus or with Trossard or with a Havertz plays. Odegaard, the last 4 or 5 games he's come on today, embarrassing. Whether he's ill or not, I'm not too sure. But the situation comes full circle back to, it was the team ready to win the Premier League title this year? No. So ask yourselves why. Because the club failed to give the fans what we needed to do what we should be doing this season. And that's at least keeping it a lot tighter at the top, because Liverpool have been phenomenal this season. You know, 48 points from 19 games. So it comes full circle back to look at the state of the squad. Look at the options we have in attack. His squad building defensively has been great. You know, 5 years ago, our defence was a complete laughingstock. You know, now look at our defensive unit. Personnel-wise, we're happy with pretty much each individual out there and across the board. But in midfield, nah. In attack, nah. But you're telling us January is a difficult market to work in. There's release clauses galore in January. But it's the same old rhetoric coming out. It's the young player stuff. It's the internal solutions. It's the January is a difficult market to work with. Who does this remind you of? Arsene Wenger. Literally the same shit was coming out of his mouth every January until Emery came in, and Emery actually told us, we ain't got no money, people. I'll try and get us a loan through my connect, so Dennis Suarez, cool, but we ain't got no money, so don't expect nothing. Thank you. I mean, at least you told us in the first 2 days of January what it is. Other than that, Wenger used to beat around the bush and take the piss. And to be honest with you, this first 4 or 5 months of the season, especially the last 2 weeks, Arteta's been taking the piss. Because internal solutions don't fix what we lack in attack. I'm sorry, the youth, the academy doesn't fix what we lack in attack. The transfer window is the only place that can fix what we lack in attack. And January has enough release clauses. There's 2 strikers there that improve our number 9 department, Gyökeres and Osimhen. And there's Lookman and Williams on the left that both have release clauses and they both improve our left-hand side. How's January difficult to market to work in? Tell me how. It's also come out we're in a good place financially. So what are the excuses? I'll tell you what the excuses are. We want Cunha, it's going to be difficult to get him, so we're going to wait till the summer. We've seen that one before. We want Isak. Why buy another striker in January? Wait till the summer. I thought it was Sesko we wanted in the summer. Wasn't that what we was told at the end of the season by these same fans that will make excuses for this club? We're not buying a striker because Sesko's obviously the one he wants. Those same fans are now saying, we're not going to buy a striker. Isak is the... What benefit is there to fans making excuses for some of the same old bullshit we're seeing again? If you're young, sit down, be quiet. You ain't seen it before. Cool. You will find out. I've seen this before time and time and time again. Whether it was with the Fabregas Nasri core, whether it was with the Oxlade Chamberlain Ramsey Wilshere core, or whether it's with this Saka Odegaard core now. When push comes to shove and you need to strike fear into the rest of the league and into the rest of Europe by your movement in the transfer window. We didn't do that. When have Arsenal ever struck fear into any other club? Even Man United and Chelsea have managed to do that in their darkest of times, because some of the windows you look at with them, you think, that's a shrewd bit of business. It hasn't worked out, and that is the risk of windows. But because risks don't work out, doesn't mean you don't take risks. You continue taking the risks and get it fucking right. It doesn't mean you stop. Oh, we signed Pepe for 72 million. We're not going to do that again. Why? We need to spend money. That's the market now. We went and spent 100 mil on a DM. So guess what? We're in that kettle of fish now where clubs can say, oh, you want a striker that bangs 20, 150. Deal with it. But we got fans saying, oh, why would we pay 150? That's not us. That's not classy. What do you mean fucking classy? We can spend 100 on a DM. You can spend 150 on a striker. I don't give a shit who you want. We need someone. Don't ask me who. There's enough people there on release clauses. There's enough people there that would join Arsenal Football Club. I don't want to hear internal solutions. I don't want to hear youth. I don't want to hear January ain't a market that we can do well in. And I'm sorry I've come off the subject of Brighton. That's because this ain't a surprise to me. Is it a surprise to you? It's not.
I've got to say it is. I've got to say it is.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because, listen, I saw the game. I wasn't around in the studio. I was in Wales. Anyway, I saw the game against Brentford, and we were very impressive. So coming into today's game, I just didn't see a performance like this. Although I would say we go 1-0 up.
How many very impressive performances have you had this season? Tell me.
Well, we were talking about it on the stream, and I was saying that we seemingly unable to put together back-to-back.
No, but how many do you think we've had this season? Just roughly.
There's been a few, but what I'm saying, my point is back-to-back, we're struggling. Because if you remember, I traced it back to the Everton game, we were poor. Then we played Palace, we were good. Then after that, we played Ipswich, we were poor, even though we won. And then we played Brentford, we're good. And then today, poor. But I want to ask you, because it is a big talking point coming out of the game today. In the second half, Brighton get a goal, a penalty. Do you think that was a penalty?
Yes, it's a penalty. Saliba didn't mean it. It's unfortunate, but he went to head the ball. He didn't head the ball, and he headbutted Pedro. If that's feet or knees or hips, there ain't no argument. People are just making an argument out of nothing. That's a stone cold penalty.
Do you think it's exacerbated by the way that Pedro went down? Some people are saying that. Let's be honest, it was a bit... Well, I'm not going to say let's be honest because, listen, he got a hit in the head. But some people are saying that the fact that he went down clutching his head virtually gave the referee little option but to give the penalty. If he'd say he'd have just went like that rather than dropped to the ground, it may not have been a penalty. What do you think about that?
Whoever's saying that needs to take a look in the mirror, because what are we asking? That Brighton show class to us and dark hearts. He got hit in the face. He's making sure the referee knows it. Full stop. When we do it, we love it. So it was done against us. It was a penalty, even if he didn't go down and he just, went ref like. And they checked VAR. You could make an argument for a penalty, but he made sure of it by going down. That's a given, because the VAR is there. Every player, if they believe that they've been fouled, cool, go down and make sure the referee goes and makes that decision, or VAR checks it out. So I don't feel hard done by. Oh, I'll tell you what I feel hard done by: seeing a team in phase 5 that's failing to break down teams consistently, failing to create enough chances to win games consistently, being not clinical enough in front of goal consistently. Because just before they had the opportunity to go 1-1, Marino's got what you could call a tap-in. Great ball in from Rice along the ground, clever, and Marino should be bagging it. He doesn't bag it. It's not the first time he's done that as well. So listen, I'm not looking at PGMOL. I'm not looking at Brighton. I'm not looking at anyone else but in-house. It's been unacceptable this season so far in the league. Yes, we're not far off our points tally from last season, but we needed to improve on our first 19 from last season. The second half of last season, even if we pull out the same second half of last season and win the Aston Villa game, we might not do it because Liverpool are too far ahead right now. They've got a game in hand, 2 now with Man United. You might as well call that 3 points. And on the form they're on, who thinks Everton are going to do something against them in February? So I'm sorry, but we look internally. Look, Slot's come into this league. He's running it. He comes up against Mikel and he stifles us and they take something from it. Maresca, first year in the league, comes in, takes something off Mikel Arteta. Herzler, new manager, youngest manager, comes in 2 games. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable.
Yeah, they've taken 4 points out of the 6.
It wasn't too long ago, we was looking at Mikel and what we were producing, saying, look at the levels, it's only Pep. That's ahead of him. But I'll tell you what, Pep wouldn't allow just any new manager to come into the league and start messing about and taking points off him. You got to make sure you work at it before, this happens consistently. Slot, Maresca, Hurster, they've all taken points off Mikel phase 5 this year. He tells us we're thin. He tells us internal solutions. He tells us these are the best owners in the world. Bullshit all round for the last 4 months. And I'm sorry, doom and gloom, it is what it is. We've got Carabao and FA Cup. Please, God, let's just, win the first leg comfortably because the form Newcastle are on. That's going to be a difficult game. And if we leave it on the line at St. James Park, see you later to the biscuits that we can have in February as well with the Carabao Cup. Man United FA Cup, I dare us to fuck about there. I dare us. What are we going to do? Wear the no more red, white shirt again and fuck about again? Because that's what we've been doing in the last 2-3 years. Wear your red shirt. Let them wear their away shirt. Forget all of that. Win the game. Yeah?
Okay, Turkish, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much.